we are now ready to solve equations. We're going to do that by first understanding what does it mean to solve equations and what is the solution of an equation. To solve an equation really just means find the value of the variable, the letter, that makes the equation true. So the solution to the equation is the value, I should say, or values. In later math, you're going to find that there's more than one value that can solve some equations. So find the value or values that makes this equation true. All of these number sentences, or math sentences, are considered open sentences. They're open because it's still open for determination as to what the solutions are to each of them. So let's figure out what the solutions are to each of these. We're going to use some mental math though. Down the road, we'll be seeing how to use a technique that will allow us to solve these not using mental math. So to solve this one with mental math, I look at that and say x plus 9 equals 14. Now, if you remember, my definition of a variable is a label that goes on top of an empty jug. So I'm looking at this as some empty position, right? So some empty, you could think of it as a block, like so, that we call x. Plus 9 is equal to 14. So I'm saying something called x plus 9 is equal to 14. Well, what number plus 9 is 14? 5. 5 plus 9 is equal to 14. And so our solution to this one is x equals 5. How do we check our answer? Take that number that you just figured out and plug it into the empty holding tank, that 5. We replace x with 5, and 5 plus 9 is equal to 14. So we get the true statement, 14 equals 14. This part right here is a check on our thinking. That right there is considered our solution. The x value that when replaced with the x in the sentence makes it a true statement. All right, let's go over here to some subtraction. This says 6 is equal to 13 minus some number. Well, let's think about that. Now again, in my head, mentally what's going on here is I'm thinking 13 minus some number that we're just labeling k. Well, 13 minus what gives you 6? 13 minus 7. So our answer here is that k is equal to 7. And let's check our answer. To check it, I'm going to replace 7 into the sentence, and we get 6 is equal to 13 minus 7. Or 6 is equal to 6, which is a true statement, making this a true equation. Very cool. Let's go on to this other one here. It says g divided by 5 is equal to 7. Well, again, we look at this and mentally we've got some empty space that we're calling g and saying what number divided by 5 is 7. Well, you could think of it straightforward and say, well, 35 divided by 5 equals 7. Or you could say, what times 5, right, would get me, sorry, not what times 5, but that would be your check. What times 5, yeah, would get you back to that 35. So you'd have to have your answer first to be able to check it. So again, what number divided by 5 gives me 7? That would be 35. So your solution is g equals 35. Now, how do we check? Well, plug in your answer. Evaluate that answer for your variable. 35 divided by 5, it's 7, so we know we're right. Last but not least, you have 9 times what number equals 180. So you could also write this problem as 9 times empty holding spot we're calling x equals 180. So what number times 9 gives you 180? Now your mental math needs to be pretty sharp for this one because 180 is a large number. Well, 9 times 2 gives me 18. We have 18 tens, so we have 2 tens would be our answer. So 9 times 20 would give us 180. So our solution, I'll put over here, is x equals 20. We will check our answer now by evaluating 20 in here. So we replace x with 20, and sure enough, 9 times 20 is 180, which we know is equal to itself. So we know that our solution of x equals 20 is correct. The most important parts of what we just went over here are what solutions mean to an equation. They mean the value that when evaluated into each variable makes the equation true. The second and equally important part is how we checked each solution by physically plugging the number that we found for our answer into the equation to make sure that it made the equation true. That is a technique you're going to be able to use for years and years to come. Awesome.